Welcome to today's product spotlight. In today's video, we are doing a product review on the Paiseec mobility chair. For those of you who saw the last review I did from this same company, I'm super excited that they did take some of my feedback and design a new chair or a different version of the chair that I think some of you might find beneficial because it addresses some of the limitations I found in the previous chair. If you're new to this channel, I'm Tara. I'm a neurologic physical therapist. And on this channel, we talk about anything and everything related to mobility, health, fitness, and mindset with the end goal of empowering you with as many tools as possible to take full ownership of your rehab. And all that said, product reviews are an important part of this channel to help you make informed buying decisions, to make sure you're putting your money to good use on the things that are going to benefit you the most in your overall quality of life. And mobility chairs are part of that equation for some of you, but this company has done something extremely unique and is why I partnered with them. Now, full disclosure, they are paying me to do these product reviews and they do send me the chairs for free. But they do give me the freedom to say whatever I want about the chair and really give my honest feedback. And what I love about this brand is they're really solving a major issue for those of you that have limited mobility where you can walk safely sometimes, but sometimes if you're having to walk longer distances or you're trying to keep up with family, you just don't have the overall endurance or you don't feel as safe when you're in certain situations. Now, in the past, many times you would have to choose between either using a wheelchair or not using a wheelchair, and they've kind of solved that issue with this chair. It's kind of what they're calling a 3-in-1 wheelchair. And some of the main features of this chair and the reasons why I am so excited about it is that it allows you to sit in the chair and drive it, but it also allows you to walk behind the chair and push it. And then the third feature is what most people use a transport chair for, and that is having a caregiver push you. Now, why would this be maybe beneficial for an older couple where an older adult is maybe having some mobility limitations themselves and they're pushing someone in a wheelchair, is that it kind of has this power assist feature. There's little sensors on the handlebars, and when you push on those sensors, the chair kind of reminds me of like those older vacuums where they were kind of like active assisted, where if you pushed on the handle a little bit, the chair kind of went into like an automatic, or the vacuum kind of went into like a power assisted mode. This wheelchair does the same thing. So much so that I really pushed it around a lot just to see, does that make it easier? And I was pushing it with one hand. Absolutely makes a huge difference. It works in forwards and reverse. So if your hand's on the sensor and you pull back on the handle a little bit, the motor will assist in rolling the chair backwards. And same thing going forwards. You can also turn it very easily with one hand, which for those of you that have hemiparesis and you're using it as a walking aid, hugely beneficial. Let's go over some of the stats of this chair. The chair comes with a 24-volt lithium battery. The weight of the chair is 45 pounds without the battery. The front wheels are 8-inch and the back wheels are 9-inch pneumatic tires. The ground clearance for that front footplate is 1.5 inches and the maximum load or weight is 265 pounds. The maximum climbing angle is 8 degrees. This might not seem like a big deal to some of you, but it's absolutely a huge deal to me. I've done several of these product reviews. This is the only chair that comes fully assembled, no screwing wheels on, which it's the only chair where I haven't had to do that, which is such a huge time saver. And for many of you who don't have a lot of help, again, it comes fully assembled. You just take it out of the box. Now, the big news about this version compared to the previous version, and one of my criticisms for the previous version, was the handlebar in the back. It was not height adjustable. So the company, they did try and solve for that by making the handle on this one height adjustable. But what I will say, even at its max height, I still don't think it's high enough for many average height males. And then when you put it at its lowest height, what happens is the sensor kind of is on top of the handle, and just by the design of this, when you fold it down to put it in a lower position, the sensor moves, so it's not on top anymore. And I will say it was a little bit more finicky because of your hand position in that lower height position. Now, all that said, the benefit of it that I really, really like is when you do put it in a lower position, you are moving the handlebar back, which is one downside to walking with a wheelchair in general, is you don't have enough foot clearance to step forward. So what a lot of people do is they lean forward a little bit. With this, when you flip it down, you do have a little bit more room to take a natural step forward because the handlebars move back a little bit. Now, my experience of taking it outside, grade, and then the 8-degree incline easily handles an 8-degree incline. Very zippy, up and down. I took it in grass behind the office building here, which has a pretty steep incline. Handled it no problem. I'm actually very surprised, given this is just like a mobility chair, not like a higher end power wheelchair, how versatile it was and how I was able to navigate all of those obstacles or environmental barriers. A couple of other things about it is the armrests do move forwards and backwards for comfort. You can choose whether you want the joystick on the right or the left side, and you can either charge the chair directly from the joystick, or you can just keep the battery charged. Now, the reason that's important is because if you want to keep the chair in like a closet or something, but you don't have like an outlet in that closet, you can charge the battery somewhere else and kind of tuck the wheelchair away. So that's why it is nice to have both options to charge a chair. As far as the cushion is pretty comfortable. Now, again, this is not a chair for people that are full-time wheelchair users. This is a mobility scooter for those of you that walk, but you just need a little bit extra when you're out in the community or you want to walk longer distances. And for that purpose, the cushion is actually really good. It also has a back cushion, which is pretty comfortable as well. Additional features that the company is really proud of and wanted me to highlight is the anti-fall feature. When you have the wheelchair in walking mode, if you start to fall forward, the chair will actually slow down, which I think is pretty cool and pretty beneficial for those of you, again, that are going to use this chair because there's certain situations where you lack confidence. I think that can be an extremely valuable feature or component of this chair. Now, when it comes to the battery life, you can get 18 miles per charge. The chair has 2 motors, which is helpful when you're going over uneven terrain. It has an extra wide seat. The handlebar is height adjustable. The company claims that this chair can fit someone from 5 feet 1 inch all the way up to someone who's 6 feet tall. I did not have anyone 6 feet tall to try this chair, but I think it would be hard for someone that's 6 feet tall not to bend over a little bit when pushing this chair. So just something to keep in mind. You can see on me, I'm 5'2", and with the handlebar fully extended at its highest height, it's almost just about comfortable. The chair also folds down pretty small. Now, I have an SUV, but based on the width, and I can't say this for sure because I didn't test it, I'm pretty sure in most cars, it'll fit in the back seat, kind of on the floor. For sure it does in an SUV, but it folds down pretty thin, and I think you'd be able to fit it in that space in most sedan type vehicles. And then that is it for this product review. Overall, I think for what the chair is designed to do and the need it is meant to fill, this is an extremely good option. It has a good battery life. I love the ability to be able to sit and ride in the wheelchair and walk behind the wheelchair, and the ease at which a caregiver can push the chair, the comfort and the durability, and the ability to navigate over a variety of terrain is also an added bonus. It has dual motors, which means that the wheels work independently of each other, which is really helpful when you're on uneven terrain. So another thing that I really noticed when I was on that uneven terrain outside and I was kind of on a sloped hill, you could really tell that that feature was extremely beneficial. So again, this chair was sent to me for free, and the company is paying me to partner with them. But again, within the terms of that partnership, I was extremely clear up front. I am able to provide my honest feedback. But all that said, if you want to learn more about this chair or it's something you're interested in purchasing, link is in the description below. I enjoyed spending time with you all today, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.